Hi guys, welcome back to Bows Fan TV, and today we're back with another video doing the match preview for tomorrow's game against SLIGO Rovers in the third round of the FAI Cup at Dalymount Park. Big game, like every cup game. We're looking to bounce back after 3 games without a win, and it's a really big chance to get some momentum back. It would have been a home game and a cup game. And yeah, look, it's a really big one. And yeah, look, we're looking to book our place in the quarterfinals. And we're coming up against the SLIGO side, who have really turned their fortunes around as of late. I know they're off the back of 2 defeats. But before that, they were on a really great run of form, and they did some really good business in the July window, and that's helped them, really push themselves into a position where they really could stay up. They're only 4 points off 8th. And look, like we said, they did lose 2 games there to Shells and Pats. But last week they were probably let down by a very poor refereeing decision to send off Patrick McLean. That was never a red card, and they went on to lose that game 3-0 against Pats. And yeah, look, they'll be looking to respond from a couple of disappointing results like ourselves. They'll be right up for this one, but look, you'd expect us to be as well. To the team, a few games without a win, chances are you might see a couple of changes at the back, especially for me anyway. I thought we looked a bit ropey at times there against Shells. Kavanagh, he's not really convincing anyone at the moment, I don't think. Chances are he might drop out for Byrne. Or we could see Flores come in there, Mountney go out at left back. There's a couple of options that we could choose from, but I don't think I'd be against either really. I think Flores, we can do a job at centre back. Kane Byrne, we know how solid he can be. It's probably a little bit of a surprise that maybe he didn't start the Shells game. Going forward then, Clark, is he going to continue up front? I think he was great against Shells up there. Like he didn't really get involved as much as he normally does. He wasn't getting the ball and bringing others into play and making things happen like he normally does. So look, I think I'd like to see Douglas James Taylor back up front. He came on for a little while against Shells, and obviously could have got himself a goal. Had a great chance to win it at the end, but couldn't put it away. And look, I think I'd like to see him back up front for this one. Like I said, for the Shells game, just so he can be that focal point. We just need someone up there who, if we can put a good ball into the box, he'll be there to get on the end of it and put the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, I'd like to see James Taylor up front for this one. But then obviously that can open a question then, what happens with Clark? Does he go into the 10 and just Tierney go back out to the right? But we've had that debate before, that limits Tierney in a way, and it is an interesting debate. But look, it's one big decision that Reynolds is going to have to make if he wants to put Douglas James Taylor back in. What's he going to do with Clark? There's no denying how big this game is in terms of getting some momentum back after a few disappointing results. A win here to get us into the cup quarterfinals, it would really do a lot in terms of getting some confidence back. Look, it won't be easy. We knew that when the draw was made, how SLIGO have been performing over the last few weeks, and the threats that they'll carry. We know about obviously Owen Elding and Hikiki. We know these players are really, really good on their day. The signings that they've made in the summer as well have come in and done a good job. Patrick McLean has done really well since he's come in, and we know McManus won't be available for this game, of course. So you'd expect that they'll try and play the way that they did when we played them back in June in Dalymount, where they really frustrated us that night. We were all over them, especially in the second half. We were really knocking on the door, but just couldn't find, we could only find one goal. We couldn't find the winner, even though we had enough chances to score 5 or 6 on the night. We only took one, and that was frustrating. And look, we don't want another kind of game like that where we're controlling possession but just can't find the goal, can't find the killer pass, can't find that bit of quality in the final third to unlock a defence. And it's important that we don't follow in that trend again. We saw that against Drogheda a couple of weeks ago, and we've like we said, we've come up against SLIGO already this season and had that same problem. So it's very important that we are, you know, clinical in the final third. Now an early goal I think would do us, you know, with the world of good. You know, the longer the game goes on, the more kind of nervy you'd get about, oh no, well, like, you know, are we going to get kept at bay again here? But look, if we can score early, I think that would really set the tone, hopefully, and ease a few worries. But I'm going to go with a 1-0 win. I think, you know, the players would have been frustrated about not hanging on for all 3 points on Saturday in Tolka Park, and you know, it's a cup game at home. You know, we expect a tough game. You know, we talked about that in this video. We know the problems that we might face, the way SLIGO's set up, the way that they can be a threat on the counter. But I'm just hopeful that we'll be able to find that bit of a spark in the final third to unlock them and hopefully put in a really good performance and get the place rocking. And look, we know the atmosphere can be great in Dalymount for cup games. We need that to be the same for tomorrow night. You know, we need the ground to be the 12th man, like it has been so many times in the past in these sort of games. And hopefully that'll help the players, you know, get the business done and put in a really good performance and get us into the next round and hopefully, you know, get some confidence back around the place, you know, after a couple of disappointing results. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a 1-0 win. You know, we'd all take that. It's all about getting into the hat, you know, no matter how it comes around, we're into the next round and take it from there. But yeah, that's where I'll end it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment down below everything heading into the game, score predictions, and I'll see you for the reaction the day after. Bye bye.